This is the second full length film of a future legendary director where he reveals techniques that he will reuse in the other 11 renowned films he directed. This film was not the director's only foray into film noir, going on to next make one of the top film noirs of all time. This amazing director used his passion for photography to make this film visually striking and tense. The filmmaker wrote, produced, edited, served as a cinematographer, and directed this film. It was shot commando style on the streets of New York without permits or authorizations. Hello to all the classic people that are returning. I'm glad you're back. I want to welcome any new visitors and let you know that there will be spoilers ahead. Today on Classic Movie Review, we are taking on Film Noir, Killer's Kiss 1955. This film was created by renowned director Stanley Kubrick before he went on to direct film noir The Killing 1956, the anti-war film Paths of Glory 1957 with the great Kirk Douglas, the epic Spartacus 1960, again with Douglas, Lolita 1962, Dr. Strangelove or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb 1964, one of the best spoofs ever, 2001, A Space Odyssey 1968, A Clockwork Orange 1971, although I'm not a great fan of those last two, Stephen King's The Shining 1980, and Full Metal Jacket 1987, to name a few films. Amazing. This film has a rather low 6.6 rating on imdb.com. On RottenTomatoes.com, the film has a mixed rating of 83% on the tomato meter and only 58% audience approval. I like it, and it's a good way to spend an hour or so. When this film was originally released, it was met with a tepid review. However, when re-examined with Kubrick's catalog of films in the rearview mirror, the film is more favorably treated, such as in the 2003 review written by New York Times film critic Janet Maslin. Maslin wrote, quote, "Killer's Kiss brought the director onto more conventional territory with a film noir plot about a boxer, a gangster, and a dance hall girl. Using Times Square and even the subway as a backdrop, Mr. Kubrick worked in an uncharacteristically naturalistic style despite the genre's material with mixed but still fascinating results. The actress playing the dance hall girl, billed as Irene Kane, is the writer Chris Chase, whose work has frequently appeared in the New York Times. Jamie Smith played the boxer, whose career is described as one long promise without fulfillment. In the case of Mr. Kubrick's own career, the fulfillment came later, but here is the promise." Unquote. Actors. Frank Silvera played criminal and all-around bad guy Vinnie Rapallo. Silvera was born in what is now Jamaica in 1914. He was one of those actors who, as a light-skinned African-American, was able to be cast as black, Latino, generic native, and white. While generally not acceptable now, this practice has kept many actors such as Michael Mark, J. Carrol Naish, and Anthony Quinn working in Hollywood. Silvera was raised in Boston and studied at Northwestern University. He began acting on stage with the Harlem American Negro Theater. He also worked with the Actors Studio. Silvera's films include Stanley Kubrick's first full-length film, Fear and Desire, 1952, Viva Zapata, 1952. He joined Kubrick for today's film, Killer's Kiss, 1955, Hombre, 1967 with Paul Newman, and the good gangster film, The St. Valentine's Day Massacre, 1967. Silvera was active in civil rights and formed the Theater of Being to help black actors break into show business. In a senseless accident, Silvera died of a heart attack after being electrocuted trying to repair a garbage disposal in 1970. In 1973, Morgan Freeman and others founded the Frank Silvera Writers Workshop Foundation, Incorporated, in his honor. Irene Kane played taxi dancer Gloria Price. Kane was born in New York City in 1924. At the time of her first film, she was a model. Later, she became a writer and a television journalist using the name Chris Chase. She is known for two widely separated films, Killer's Kiss, 1955, and All That Jazz, 1979. Kane also worked in episodic television such as Love of Life, 1962 through 1965, but IMDb.com does not list the number of episodes. The Naked City, 1958 to 63 for 2 episodes, and The Doctors, 1964 for 5 episodes. Kane co-authored the autobiographies of Alan King, Josephine Baker, Rosalind Russell, and First Lady Betty Ford. She died in 2013. Kane may be familiar to you if you've ever watched TCM's Open All Night. Her role in today's film is shown in montage. Jamie Smith was cast in the role of middleweight boxer Davy Gordon. There is very little information available concerning Smith. He studied drama while attending Carnegie Tech. After graduation, he served in the Office of Strategic Services during World War II. That's a James Bond-style spy. From 1947 to 1948, Smith was a member of Jose Ferrer's theatrical company. He then left to study at the Sorbonne in Paris. In Paris, Smith performed as an assistant director and narrator for a few documentary films. He later joined Orson Welles' acting company. Smith's few film roles include The Fateful City 1952 and today's film Killer's Kiss 1955. After Killer's Kiss 1955, Smith only worked on episodic television such as True Story 1957 to 58, The Naked City 1961, and Route 66 1963. Kubrick's wife, ballerina Ruth Sobotka, served as the art director for the film and performed the dance sequence as Iris. She was also the art director for Kubrick's next film, the great film noir The Killing 1956. Social media is a problem for most of us. If you need help managing your social media accounts, you might want to check out my link to Metricool. They're a social media management platform. They're very reasonably priced. They're helpful. They put out a lot of content, and it has helped me get my whole social media empire under control. Check out the link. If you buy anything, I may get a small commission to help with the show, but it won't cost you anything extra. Story. This movie, like all great film noirs, begins in the present and tells a story in flashback. Davy Gordon, Jamie Smith, stands in the beautifully lit New York Penn Station. Davy impatiently waits as the sound of trains coming and going is heard. As he paces and smokes, he begins to think about the mess he has gotten himself into. He flashes back to 3 days prior. Very biblical. Prior to his boxing match with a fighter named Kid Rodriguez. It is October 25th, and the fight will be held in the city arena. Davy spends time looking in the mirror at the scarring from fight cuts. Pictures of an isolated farm line the outside of the mirror. He paces and fidgets in his apartment until a young woman, Gloria Price, Irene Kane, can be seen in the other tower of the building. This building was constructed in 1925 and was still standing in 2021 at the corner of Perry Avenue and East 205th Street in the Bronx. However, I could not determine if it was still standing using Google Street View. Davy is filmed through the fishbowl as he watches the goldfish eat. First, is this a metaphor for him and Gloria being trapped in their life roles? Second, does Rocky 1976 steal this bit for his turtles? Davy gets a call from his manager, Albert, Jerry Jarrett, saying he has car trouble and that Davy should take a cab to his boxing match. It then switches to Gloria in her scantily furnished and bleak apartment. It is a match to Davy's apartment with hot plates instead of ovens and clothes hanging haphazardly. Gloria is very pretty as she dresses for work as a taxi dancer. They are both clearly living their small existence in a tiny bubble. She looks out the window and watches Davy prepare to leave as she finishes her coffee. Davy has a machete on his wall, while Gloria has a bra on hers, reflecting the role these two lonely people are locked into. Davy heads down the stairs of his tower at the same time Gloria leaves through her tower. Davy removes a letter from his mailbox. Both stairways lead to the exit of the building. They exit the building at the same time. Davy takes the subway to save the cab fare, and Gloria is picked up by her boss, Rapallo, Frank Silvera. Rapallo starts questioning Gloria about seeing Davy. She says she doesn't know him. Rapallo says Davy used to be a good fighter and in fact is fighting that night. Rapallo says he and Gloria can watch it on television. Davy reads the letter on the subway. It is from his uncle who lives on a farm in the Northwest. It transitions from the peaceful letter to the sound of boxing and the arena crowd. Davy gets taped in the dressing room. Director Kubrick shows wholesome storefronts before switching to the posters for dancing partners and the sleazy place where Gloria works. A booth sells tickets for $1 a dance, so this is clearly up from the dime a dance in other movies such as Lure 1947 and Dance Hall Racket 1953. The women try to look interested as they dance with strange men. Menacing bouncers watch for anyone getting out of line. Gloria undresses as she prepares for her work, and Davy is shown only in his boxing trunks getting ready for his work. Davy is announced on television as having a record of 88 victories, 9 losses, and 2 draws, making this his 100th fight. Davy, the announcer says, is also known to fold during important bouts. Rapallo pulls Gloria from a dance with a GI. When the soldier objects, Rapallo's goons step in. Gloria and Rapallo go into the office to watch the fight. To sum up the fight, Davy takes a beating from the younger fighter. Rapallo is excited by the violence. The bout is well filmed and the view shifts as Davy begins losing. Rapallo puts some moves on Gloria, but she is sidetracked by the television. It cuts away, but Gloria is shown walking home alone. Davy sits in his dark apartment, thinking about being knocked out in his future. The lights come on in Gloria's apartment as she returns home. She is shaken by the night's events. Davy gets a call from his uncle. He invites Davy to come visit the farm. In a mirror reflection, Gloria undresses in the background while Davy is on the call. Davy goes to sleep and dreams of the city as he hears angry comments from the fight fans. Director Kubrick used a negative image rather than the developed footage to make the dream scene seem unreal. Davy is awakened by a woman screaming. Through the window, he sees Rapallo assaulting Gloria. Rapallo closes the blind and escapes into the stairwell as Davy comes over the roof to save Gloria. With Rapallo gone, Davy helps Gloria into bed. She flashes back to an hour before. Rapallo knocked at her door and basically pushes his way inside. Upbeat Latin tempo music loudly plays. Rapallo apologizes for what he did earlier. She is not interested and orders him out. He continues to press, but she won't have anything to do with him. She tells him he is an old man and that he smells bad.
Can't you get it, Vinny? To me, you're just an old man. You smell bad.
Ouch. When he won't leave, she screams. Gloria falls asleep while Davy watches over her. Davy examines everything in Gloria's apartment while she sleeps, including touching her hanging stockings. There is a picture of Iris, Ruth Sobotka, on the dresser. Davy leaves but returns for breakfast the next morning. He gives his life story and his plan to move to Seattle and his uncle's horse ranch. Eventually, Davy asks about Iris's picture and about why Gloria works at a dance hall. The pictures are of her father and her sister, Iris. As Gloria talks, Iris is shown doing a beautiful ballet dance. The story is that Iris was a very talented dancer and her father's favorite. Gloria tells that Iris was 8 years old when she was born and their mother died the same day. Iris looked like her mother and Gloria was ignored. At 20, Iris was dancing for the Ballet Russe. On Gloria's 13th birthday, Iris announced that she received a proposal from a wealthy older man. However, she refused because the man wanted her to stop dancing. Their father laughed. A few months later, their father became terminally ill. When all the money was gone, Iris married the rich older man. The entire family moved to his Long Island estate and lived lavishly. Iris stopped dancing and mainly stayed with her sick father. After a year, the father died. Iris went into her room and committed suicide. Her note to Gloria said she loved her and was sorry for the mess. A few days later, Gloria went to the city and saw the sign for the dance parlor. She took a job on the spot. She said it was a depraved human zoo. Gloria and Davy then go for a long walk. Gloria becomes happy during the walk. When Davy tells her that he is leaving for Seattle, her sad mood returns. They return to Gloria's apartment and get busy with the kissy facing. Davy pronounces his love after a few kisses. Fade to black and sunrise. Gloria says she will go to Seattle with Davy. They make train reservations and start trying to collect their paychecks. Gloria sends a message to Rapallo that she is coming in to pick up her salary. Rapallo is drinking and already in a rage. Davy calls his manager Albert and asks for cash instead of a check for his last fight. Davy wants to meet in front of the dance hall. Albert agrees to 8:15, but says he will be in a rush because he's going to the theater with his wife. That night, Davy and Gloria arrive outside the dance hall. Drunken Shriners are acting a fool. Gloria goes inside alone. Davy waits on the street as the Shriners dance around. Gloria meets with Rapallo in his office. Gloria is very clear that she is leaving. Rapallo threatens to kill her as he is not taking her leaving very well.
I could kill you right here and now.
Oh, I don't think you will.
I wouldn't be too sure of that.
When Rapallo discovers that she is leaving with Davy, who he considers a bum, he becomes more aggressive. He throws her out without her money. Out front, the Shriners take Davy's scarf and start playing keep away. Davy chases the Shriners down the block as Albert arrives in a taxi. Rapallo sends his goons to attack Davy. Gloria waits near Albert without knowing who the man is. Davy is nowhere in sight. One goon tells Gloria that if she goes back upstairs, Rapallo will pay her the money she is owed. She goes up, leaving Albert alone outside. Finally, Davy arrives back at the dance hall with his scarf. The goons have already taken Albert into the alley, thinking he is Davy. Albert tries desperately to escape, but the goons murder him. Gloria comes down with her money, and Davy thinks Albert ran out of time and has left. Eventually, Davy and Gloria return to their apartments to pack for the trip. Davy leaves a note asking that his fish be fed each day. Davy crosses the roof over to Gloria's tower. When he enters Gloria's apartment, he finds it is empty and all of her belongings are gone. Davy then hears banging from his apartment. He looks across to see his apartment and sees the police enter his room with the landlord. The police tell the landlord that Davy is suspected of killing his manager, Albert. Davy has no idea why Gloria is missing and doesn't know why the police are looking for him. Davy pulls a Luger pistol from his suitcase. Lugers are usually a sign that you're a bad guy, but not in this case. Rapallo leaves the dance hall and heads to the Lower East Side dock area. He does not know that Davy is following him in a taxi. When Rapallo stops at a light in a deserted area, Davy jumps from the taxi and gets in Rapallo's car. Davy holds the gun on Rapallo and has figured out that he is the man behind the killing of Albert. With the gun to his neck, the heel says that his goons kidnapped Gloria and she's in a loft on 24th Street.
I'm gonna count to 3, and if you still don't know, I'm gonna blow your brains out. 1, 2.
She's in a loft on 24th Street.
How'd she get there?
Boys are waiting at her apartment.
Is she all right?
Rapallo said he did it because she saw the guys that murdered Albert. Davy has Rapallo drive to the location. They ride the freight elevator to where Gloria is being held by 2 goons. Davy lines the 3 bad guys against the wall and disarms them. Because he is holding the gun in one hand, Davy has to call for one of the goons to untie Gloria. The 2 goons exchange a quick signal. Goon 1, who is untying Gloria, pulls her hair and bites her neck. At the same time, Goon 2, who is on the wall, throws a deck of cards at Davy's face. Both goons jump on Davy. They beat Davy to the floor and take his gun. Gloria makes a play with Rapallo to save her own life.
Don't kill me. I don't want to die. I'll do anything you say.
Rapallo seems to fall for her kisses, but he's only pretending. Davy wakes on the ground and kicks the chair from under Goon 1, who is guarding him. Davy leaps through the window like the Werewolf of London 1935, landing on the street. And there's a link for that below. Goon 1 is left behind to guard Gloria, while Rapallo and Goon 2 chase Davy. Davy runs into a dead-end alley. The vistas and framing are amazing as he flees. Davy climbs a fire escape to reach the building roof. The fog-shrouded bridge is seen in the background as he crosses massive warehouse roofs. Goon 2 twists his ankle and falls out of the chase. Davy enters a window and finds himself in a room full of mannequins. Rapallo comes in right behind him and loses his gun in the struggle with an employee. The now unarmed Rapallo searches through the plastic body parts for Davy. Rapallo throws a torso at Davy before pulling a fire axe off the wall. Davy throws mannequin parts at Rapallo as a cop car arrives below. Rapallo tries to escape as Davy grabs a firefighting pole. Dozens of mannequins are destroyed as the offensive-defensive fight continues. At last, Davy stabs Rapallo. Rapallo's scream turns into the whistle of a train as Davy is shown back in current time. He tells that the police helped free Gloria and that the two hoods were arrested. He wonders if Gloria thought bad of him for leaving her behind. He wonders if she considered how her begging to Rapallo affected Davy. Davy continues that later, the cops said the killing of Rapallo was self-defense and the two goons confessed to Albert's murder. Davy left the police station an hour after Gloria, but he had not heard from her since. Just before the train leaves, Gloria arrives in a taxi and runs down the steps to Penn Station. These are the same steps that had the baby carriage gunfight in The Untouchables in 1987, which was basically pinched from the battleship Potemkin 1925. She runs to Davy and they kiss. They live happily ever after, at least until they've known each other 3 or 4 days. All right, I want to thank everybody that subscribed, hit the like button, and especially you that send me comments. Keep those comments coming. It's wonderful. Conclusions. This is a beautiful film. The way light was used to create half shadows is a masterclass in photographic technique. This movie should be watched for light and shadow as much as the story. Director Kubrick was working with only the money he could borrow from friends and family. Most of the filming took place without the required permits. Kubrick worked to hide the camera while shooting. Sometimes they would film from inside a parked car. They also used a pickup truck in the place of a dolly system. Part of the film was shot on a handheld IMO camera that the director borrowed. It was stolen from his car during the film. That must have been a hard conversation to have. Since the film was shot on the streets, much of the dialogue was lost and had to be revoiced in the studio. Also, the Foley work had to be redone. Director Kubrick used some techniques that he used in later big-budget films. The negative image dream sequence is very similar to the Space Corridor in 2001: A Space Odyssey, 1968. Also, the fight with nude mannequin body parts was strangely revisited in A Clockwork Orange, 1971. The mannequin fight cost $15,000 for destroyed figures. That would be around $150,000 now. Oddly, United Artists and the censors were concerned about the mannequins being naked. Huh? United Artists paid Kubrick $100,000 to distribute Killer's Kiss 1955. They agreed to give him another $100,000 towards the production of what would turn out to be a great film noir, The Killing 1956, and the link is in the description. However, United Artists insist that Killer's Kiss 1955 have a happy ending. This was clearly not the case for The Killing 1956, as the ending turned out very bad for most of the characters. There is a film, Stranger's Kiss 1983, that is based on the making of this film, so I will add that to my watch list. I haven't mentioned it in a while, but we do have some t-shirts and some coffee cups. Really helps the show if you buy one. Check it out, you might find something you like. World famous short summary. Mannequins are creepy as hell. As a technical note, references and citations are listed for each show on the site at classicmovierev.com. Beware the Moors. All right, there'll be some boxes up here. One is another movie like this that I recommend for you, and the other is a playlist for similar movies. Check them out.